When I did my first live video on Instagram, I made this mistake. And trust me, it was bad. Welcome back to my channel, guys. For those of you who are new, I'm the Marketing Nomad, and I usually talk about content marketing, social media, marketing, and brand management. I usually upload YouTube videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. However, I do offer free marketing tips on my Instagram page every single day. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to know 10 tips to make sure that your first live video on Instagram goes really well. Now, before we get into the tips, let me first explain why it is so important to start live videos as part of your content marketing strategy. Now, according to this study, 80% of consumers said that they would rather watch a live video from their brand rather than read a blog. Now, this tells us that consumers are more and more looking forward to live videos, and they would engage better with live videos. Now, of all the platforms available, my favorite is Instagram, for the sole reason that it is super convenient and it also allows you to engage really easily with your audience as well. Now, 10 tips, express style. Are you guys ready? Let's get down to business. Now, the first tip is obviously to pluck up your courage. If you've been debating for a little while whether you should go with live videos or not as part of your content marketing strategy, I'm here to tell you to take that leap. Now, I know it's absolutely daunting to put your business out there, especially when it's live. You're afraid you're gonna mess up, you're afraid something's gonna go wrong, but here's the thing. The first couple of videos are going to be crappy. The first couple of videos are for you to understand what your audience wants, are for you to understand whether you are putting the right content out there, and it is to kind of spark that excitement in your audience to start engaging with your brand. Over time and over live videos, you're going to understand your audience better, you're going to know how to put that content out, and you are going to be a pro at this. But you are not going to get there if you don't take the leap. So I'm here to tell you to take that leap, make that live video, and be sure to incorporate the rest of the tips that I do have for you today. Now, the second one is to change your mindset. Now, I know previously it was only influencers who would put out live video content out there, but slowly businesses are starting to hop onto this trend. Now, if you think that you are in a boring industry or you sell boring products, believe me, there are ways that you can still create engaging video content and make sure that your audience is still equally excited about the live video content. The best way to put out great live video content is to ask your audience. It doesn't matter what industry you're in or what type of audience that you have, or the product that you are selling, or even if you are selling a service. What matters is that your audience is going to be excited about something, and you just have to find out what that something is. Now, my third tip is to script it. Now, I know that this can be a little challenging at times, but here's the thing. When you are first starting out, your audience might not be that willing to engage with you. They might not be that willing to talk to you or ask questions so freely. Now, in a situation like that, you would ideally want to create a baseline script where even if your audience is not engaging with you, you actually do have some content to keep talking about. Now, this is actually a mistake that I made on my first live video on Instagram. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna admit it, I did it on an impulse. I wanted to try it out, and I thought that my audience would be engaging and they would talk to me freely on live video, but that didn't happen. Especially in the beginning, it is a little hard to get your audience to engage with you, and that's why this script helps. Now, even if your audience is engaging with you, it is better to have a baseline script for the sole reason that you never know what happens live. We are humans after all. There is a possibility of blanking out, there is a possibility of fumbling, there is that confidence that you do have a script in case something happens. Now, the fourth one is to promote it at least a week in advance. Now, this is also another mistake that I did make in my first live video, and as I told you guys, I did it on an impulse. So the only person who actually showed up on my first live video was my mom. Yes, and she was actually sitting beside me at that time. So I don't even think that counts. So guys, Over time, I realized that you have to promote it a week in advance. Now, when you are promoting your live stream, here are a few details that I have found to be very helpful to add it in. Now, the first thing that you should add is the time that you are going to be putting on. If you randomly decide to go on an impulse, you're going to probably hear crickets. Time is important. For me, I have audiences both in the US and in India. So what I do is I generally put the EST and I put the IST as well. Now the second thing that you would want to include is what you are going to be talking about. Even if you are doing question and answers and you're not sure what those question and answers are, at least give a topic. That kind of arouses excitement and curiosity as well. The third thing that you would want to include is some sort of a poll if you're putting it on your Instagram stories. Ask your audience, are they excited to do this with you? Are they going to be there? And try to make sure that you are building that excitement a week in advance. Fourth thing is to put it every single place you can find. On a side note, on the day this video comes out, I will actually be live on Instagram about an hour and a half after this video is released. And here is everywhere that I put it on. Now, one of the reasons why you actually have to promote it is because when your consumers get the notification on their phone that you are going live, they are mentally prepared to maybe leave what they're doing and hop onto Instagram because they know what you're talking about. Even if they are not free enough at that point to check it out, they still have 24 hours and you will be on their mind, they will be curious about it, and they will still come to see your Instagram live after you are done. Number 5. Ask your audience what they want. Make sure that you are putting questions out there. Now, I know that when you are first starting out with your live videos, it can get a little bit challenging because your audience is not ready to talk to you about what they want, and they probably don't know themselves what they would like you to talk about. Instead of asking open-ended questions, what you can do is ask either or questions. That way, you are putting out a set of topics that you are willing to talk about, and all your audience has to do is choose one of them. Now, make sure that you don't give them more than 3 options because that can get confusing as well. I usually stick to 2 topics, and that has worked out really well for me. Now, another thing that I have actually done is to DM a few of my followers, especially those who I know would be interested to show up when I do a live video. I've personally asked them and I've tried to pick their brain on what they would like to know. Now, number 6. Put that energy in. Now, whether it is a product launch or you are just doing a how-to video or a live Q&A, make it conversational, make it light, make it interesting. Now, the more conversational you are, the more your audience starts to take a look at your brand as a human rather than a business. And that is exactly the kind of feeling you want to generate with these live videos. Now, number 7 is to check your settings. Now, at the top left corner, you have a settings button when you go live. Make sure that you are allowing people to share your live video because otherwise, what is the point? Make sure you guys change your settings before you go live. Now, number 8 is interacting with comments. If you've reached a point where your consumers are interacting with you and they are engaging with you in the comments, make sure that you take a second and acknowledge those comments because that shows that you are there to build relationships, and I think that that's a great way to go. Number 9 is promote it after. Now, what Instagram does after you are done with your live feed is that it converts it into a story and it places it on top along with the other stories. Now, one of the reasons why I absolutely love Instagram Live is because it comes up right in the front, which means when your audience opens up their newsfeed, they can absolutely see you standing right there. Now, sometimes your audience might not immediately click on it, or they might not actually be on Instagram to click on it. What you would ideally do is promote that you have finished your live video, talk about how exciting it was, talk about some of the topics you covered, maybe give a sneak peek of what happened, put in bloopers because those are always fun, and promote it on every other single platform that you do find. Now, as a side note, I do want to share a small personal experience just because I am in this industry as well, and I do use live videos as my content marketing strategy. So when I first started doing live videos, people didn't show up and I would actually feel dejected, and the minute that I was done with my live videos, I would actually delete it because I was just so embarrassed. Now, here's the thing. When you do a live video and you think that it turned out great, it doesn't matter if no one is there to see it. Just because Instagram converts it as a story, so there is a chance for people to take a look at it after you are done, which means to say there's a huge crowd out there that is missing out if you just delete the video. So even if there's no one watching, pretend like there is and just go ahead with your live video. Don't be too daunted by it, just keep going, and don't take it personally if no one has shown up for your first live videos, because there is a chance that they probably were not free at that point and they're looking forward to see it after they're done with their work. So don't deprive them of that happiness. Make sure that you are putting out your live video as stories after. Don't delete it, don't be embarrassed, because at the end of the day, and this is my tip number 10, it is all about having fun. Now, whatever this is, if you think that this is work, then it is going to seem a lot stressful. You're going to be constantly worried about analytics, you're constantly going to be worried that no one's showing up, and it is going to get so stressful during the first couple of live videos that you do decide to do. Now, if you decide that you want to just make this fun, you just want this to be a platform where your users or your audience engages with you and you are building that amazing connection, then that is how this is going to be successful for you. And when it seems like work, your audience is going to be put off at the end of the day. So tip number 10 is make it fun. Make it fun for you, make it fun for the audience, because at the end of the day, even though that this is a part of your content marketing strategy, don't make it feel like one. And at the end of the day, your audience is going to remember you for how you made them feel during this live video, or even if they watch it afterwards. So that brings me to the end of my video. I absolutely enjoyed sharing my tips and tricks for this video and some of my personal experiences. It actually feels good. I think I'm gonna incorporate this more and talk to you guys more about how things are working on my end, what worked, what didn't work, because at the end of the day, that is what makes sense for me too. If you guys thought that this was super cool, say yes in the comments below, and I will actually start talking more about my experiences and what I learned through them as well. Now, if you liked this video as much as I did, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, because this is where all the fun marketing stuff happens. And in my next video, continuing my streak for content marketing for the month of February, I'm going to be talking about some of the tips and tricks for webinars and how you can totally ace your content marketing strategy. While you wait for those videos, please be sure to check out these 2 videos that I do have for you, or the videos that I do have for you in the description box below. Alright guys, until my next video, bye-bye!